Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. To get us started this morning, I just want to introduce our CEO, Deb Callahan, and she is going to introduce the webinar.
Great. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me, Jess? Thumbs up.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of NFRC and our board of directors, I want to welcome you to NFRC. NFRC is a nonprofit membership organization that serves the public by providing fair, accurate, and credible ratings for fenestration products. We're committed to advancing the continuous improvement of windows, doors, and skylights, making buildings more comfortable and energy efficient. 30 plus years in, and we continue to make a difference in the fenestration market, and in fact, the broader Better Buildings industry. We have a robust, active, and engaged membership, and I'm so pleased that you've made the decision to be counted among its numbers. Our board and staff are dedicated to continuous improvement. We're not an organization that rests on its laurels because there's so much to be done to advance this industry and to serve the public. Our programs and services are built upon our strategic plan, which aims to advance both our commercial and residential programs and to increase awareness and use of our ratings. Today, you'll meet some of our staff who will walk you through our membership benefits. I hope you enjoyed this session. There will be time for you to ask questions. And I truly hope that before too long, we'll be able to welcome you in person at an NFRC meeting. So thank you again for your membership. I'm going to turn this back over to Jess, and she'll begin the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. My name is Jessica, and I am the membership manager at NFRC. So I know I've probably talked to most of you, but as always, please feel free to email me with any questions that you might have. So I think Deb touched a lot on this in her welcoming remarks, but NFRC is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. So I think it's important to know that as we move forward, and it might give some more context and reason behind some of the activities that we do and also some of the ways that you can get involved. But our mission is that we're committed to advancing continuous improvement of windows, doors, and skylights, contributing to making buildings more comfortable and energy efficient. And our vision is that we empower people to create better buildings, increasing public awareness of energy efficiency and environmental responsibility, thereby enriching the wellness of those who choose NFRC certified fenestration products. So if you are interested in learning more about NFRC, and I'll send this presentation out, we have a whole presentation that talks about who we are as an organization, why we were founded. So happy to send that out if anyone wants some more information. So we already heard from Deb, who is our CEO. The chairman of our board is John Gordon, and he is from the National Certified Testing Laboratory. And sorry, before I go on any further, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, just put them right in the question box and we will get to them. But yeah, John is from National Certified Testing Laboratory, and he is the chair of our board of directors. And currently, NFRC has 25 people that are on our staff, and we are all available to answer questions that you might have about any of our programs or events. And you can access a full list of all of our staff on our website. So I'm just going to go over some of our primary programs and who the main contacts for that should be, so you know who to reach out to. For our commercial certification program, we have Kevin Lauder, who is our program manager. Dennis Anderson, who is the program manager for the Laboratory Accreditation Program. For marketing and communications questions, you can reach out to Michelle Blackston. She is our Senior Director of Marketing and Communications. If you have questions about your bill, you can reach out to Ariane Jeffrey. If you just in general have questions about one of the programs, I highly encourage you to reach out to Steve Urick. He is our Senior Director of Programs Development. And then finally, for the residential certification program and FenStar, Steve McDowell is that contact. And again, if you have any questions or aren't sure who to reach out to, you can always email membership@nfrc.org. And if we can't answer your question, we can absolutely get you in touch with the correct staff member who can. So the next thing I want to go over is how to get involved. And getting involved is one of the main reasons that people decide to become members. There are so many opportunities for involvement. We have over 20 active work groups, subcommittees, task groups, and committees. There is something for everyone, whatever your interest is. We're always looking for to create new groups as well. So if there's nothing that is grabbing you at the moment, we'd love to hear what you are interested in. So there's three main ways for you to be able to get involved. And the first is attending a meeting. They're probably the best way to get started in your journey with NFRC and getting involved. It's a great way to meet other members and to learn more about NFRC and the processes. I will go over our meetings in a bit more detail later in this presentation, but you can click for a full list of our meetings that are listed on our website. Next is joining a group. As I was saying, we have over 20 active groups across our range of groups. So I'm going to go over the different levels of groups and how you can get involved in those. The first one are task groups. And task groups are formed to address a specific task or assignment. Again, there's a list of all of the task groups on the website. And just for this presentation, I wanted to have two of our more active groups give a very quick presentation about what their group's doing, how often they're meeting, and it'll give you a good idea about what it's like to be part of one of these groups. So the first one, and I'd like to introduce Kevin Lauder. He is the staff liaison for the NFRC 715 task group. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin briefly.
All right, thanks, Jess. So as just mentioned, I'm Kevin Lauder, Program Manager with NFRC, and again, the staff liaison for the NFRC 715 PCP Review Task Group. The task group chair for this particular task group is Tom Culp. He's with Birch Point Consulting, and he's a longstanding member with NFRC. So this task group was created back in December of 2020, and is tasked to continue and develop with the development and direction from the board-appointed commercial work group, which was established back in 2017. So responsibilities of this task group involve continuing development of a two-pathway commercial certification program and maintenance upon implementation. This group has been highly active, meeting in many cases weekly or bi-weekly, and trying to assemble a ballot for membership for this two-pathway certification. The necessity with introduction of this new commercial program was to better satisfy the needs of the industry, commercial stakeholders, and participants in the program and their members. The two pathways designed to satisfy commercial needs include a project upload path and a product directory path. And both of those, again, were designed depending on the specifics of the project. The product upload path has also introduced a new calculation procedure we call the commercial trendline approach, and it's a process that allows product trend lines to be generated. It does not require further computer simulation after these are developed. So this process dramatically simplifies obtaining product ratings and streamlines the process, especially in the commercial industry. This task group is working to complete a second program ballot, and we're projecting for the summer meeting to have that out to membership.
All right, thank you, Kevin. And if you have any specific questions about that task group, Kevin is more than happy to answer those for you. Next, I would like to introduce Jim Allardyce. He is not only our 2020 Member of the Year, but he is the group chair, and he is one of our members of the Blinds Between Glass task group. So, hand it over to Jim.
Well, thank you, Jess. Yeah, thank you, Jess. As Jess mentioned, I'm the task group chair for the Blinds Between Glass task group. I work at ODL. ODL does not make windows or doors, but we make glass IGs, so with decorative panels and blinds. So we've been members and attending conferences for almost 30 years. But the Blinds Between Glass task group is relatively new. It's just got started up last November, and we've been meeting monthly since then. Up until then, NFRC has focused on bigger picture things like how to simulate doors and windows, and we've just gotten to the granular point now of addressing things for blinds. So our group meets monthly. We've got 14 members in our group. It's a nice mix of simulators, manufacturers, test lab people, people who work in academics, and some NFRC staff members as well. So it's a really good group. Over the past year, we've had 2 or 3 breakout sessions between our monthly meetings, just to focus on particular things where instead of wasting everyone's time in the task group meeting, 4 or 5 of us peel off and get to the bottom of something, and then come back to the task group and give a summary, and then ask the task group to make a decision. So what we do with our task group is we're just trying to make it easier for simulators to simulate blinds. Blinds are a difficult thing to simulate, and we're trying to make it easier for simulators to do that, providing them with better training materials in the manuals, going through the NFRC documents, making sure that those are clear. We've stumbled across a software issue, so we're advocating to the software task group to address that. So we're kind of advocates for our own little product niche, and other task groups do the same thing, where we find issues and then advocate for solutions to them. So it's all good. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you, Jim. And Jim, I know actually has a task group meeting in about 15 minutes. So thanks for taking the time this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So all of the task groups that are active are listed online, and on each of their pages they'll have the group scope and a little bit more information. And you can also request to join all the task groups just by going to their group page, and at the top there's a list, a button, request to join. So next level is the subcommittees. All member companies are automatically a member of every subcommittee, which means your company has a vote at the subcommittee level. So this is a way to get involved in the first level of balloting. So you can comment on ballots. Ballots are open for commenting for 21 days before every meeting. So all members can have one comment. So there's and you can also participate at the meeting where the voting will happen on those ballots. And then next level is the committees. To be a member of a committee, you do have to be present at a committee meeting. So for example, we have 4 committees that are member committees. They're regulatory affairs, research and technology, technical, and ratings. So at our spring meeting that's coming up at the end of March, the research and technology, technical, and ratings committee will all be meeting. So if you wanted to join one of those committees, you'd be able to do so at the meeting, and then you'd be on that roster for the next meeting, which is the fall. So every company also is represented once has the opportunity to be represented once on the committee. So every company, no matter how big or small, has one vote. And then we highly encourage all of our members to get involved in our education and outreach activities. We do a lot of work throughout the year at trade shows and outreach, just educating people about who NFRC is, educating consumers about the label and the importance of NFRC. Also, you can register for one of our Marcom network meetings, and I'll talk about that meeting a little bit later in the presentation. We have a podcast called Through the Glass, which is a great way to learn more about NFRC and leaders in the industry. Attend one of our Leaders Network events, and I'll talk a little bit more about our Leaders Network again later. Contribute or just read the NFRC blog. We have guest bloggers throughout the year just about interesting topics that are important to our members. So contribute, comment. We'd love to hear your feedback on those. And then when appropriate, so we're love to work with our members on social media cross promotion. So our meetings and webinars, great way to really kick off your involvement and make the most of your membership. So as I was saying earlier, NFRC typically holds 2 in-person meetings a year, our spring committee meeting, which we have coming up at the end of March, and our fall membership meeting. In 2020, those were both moved to be virtual, and we are virtual in the spring. But as Deb was saying, we do hope to be back in person as soon as it's safe to do that safely. And then again, it's linked here on the presentation, which will be sent out, but you can access all of our meeting dates on our website. And just a little bit of information about our upcoming spring meeting. It is early bird registration, and that ends on February 8th. So if you register before then, you do get $50 off of your registration. But during the meeting, there'll be committee block meetings, subcommittee meetings, task group updates, program updates, as well as networking opportunities. So especially with being virtual, it's a great way to get introduced to NFRC, learn a little bit about it, and you don't even have to leave your house or your office, wherever you're working from right now. So we highly recommend that everyone, especially new members, getting used to it, attend one of our meetings. And our webinars. Throughout the year, we host a variety of webinars on topics ranging from program updates, sustainability sessions, emerging technology, and leaders development. We do have all of our webinars listed on our website. A couple that are coming up in the next month or two that I think would be really helpful or would help people get to know NFRC. The first one is the Efficient Windows Collaborative and the Windows Selection Walkthrough. About a year ago, NFRC acquired the Efficient Windows Collaborative, and we've been putting a lot of work into updating the website and getting things ready for action. So we're excited to be having this webinar so we can show everyone how we're integrating it with NFRC, and then to walk people through using the Windows Selection tool. On February 18th, it's an introduction to NFRC balloting. Ballots open a week before that, so it'll give you time to read the ballots, and if you have any questions, you can bring those to the webinar, but it'll show you how to go about interpreting a ballot, from everything from the cover sheet to how you can comment. And then also we'll talk about how ballots are dealt with at the meeting. And then March 9th, we have our Marcom network, and this quarterly meeting, this time we're going to be talking about virtual meetings and whether or not they're here to stay, even when people are meeting in person. Is it something that we should all be gearing up for and talking about best practices? So we focusing on virtual meetings. And then on March 16th, our FenStar update. And then on March 23rd, right before the meeting, is the Leaders Network Understanding NFRC Documents. This webinar goes through each of NFRC's documents, how they work and interact with each other, and how they impact you and your involvement with NFRC. So now I'm just going to go over all of the member benefits, and all of these benefits are available to all of our members. Regardless of your member category, you can take advantage of any of these benefits. The first one is your voice and your vote, probably the most important and biggest reason people become members. Your voice and your vote is your contribution to the development of NFRC programs. And ways that people have their voice heard is by commenting on ballots and voting at meetings. Like as I was saying earlier, every company, no matter the size, has one vote. You can participate in mid-cycle ballots. Since these meetings are only addressing ballots, they're only open to members. And then finally, participating in subcommittees and committees. Only members can participate at this level, and you can have as many employees involved in the process and working in different groups, but when it comes to the committees and subcommittees, each company has one vote. So our Leaders Network that I mentioned earlier, but our Leaders Network is a group and it offers training, education, and social activities throughout the year to help members, new and existing, learn more and get more involved with NFRC. So we focus on a couple areas. The first is education, and these sessions and activities focus on the development of leadership skills. So we really appreciate all the work and the time that our member volunteers give. So we want to make sure that we're giving our volunteers like the tools that they need to be good volunteer leaders. At the same time, bring some of these skills back to their organizations. We have the Leaders Network Through the Glass podcast. This will be linked on the presentation, but I highly recommend going to listen to some of the series. Deb Callahan did one, John Gordon and Tony Cinnamon, the chair and vice chair of the board. So it gives some great history about NFRC and some good perspective and can be helpful at a meeting. And one of the cool things is most of the people that are featured on the podcast, you'll most likely see at one of our meetings. And we offer training. And these sessions are more focused internally, and they're giving our volunteer leaders, like task group chairs and subcommittee and committee chairs, the tools that they need and resources to be, to do their role as well as they can. And then finally, social events. These aren't your typical happy hour networking activities, but they're activities that are planned, and they're very purposeful events to help you and to help attendees get outside of their current social circle and meet people who they might not have the opportunity to talk to. So for example, a member it's their very first meeting might have the opportunity to talk to the chair of the board in a very relaxed and informal setting. So these Leaders Network events are open to all members. We highly encourage you, if they have a little LN before an event, that means it's a Leaders Network event. So we highly encourage you to register for those. And again, we would love to involve you in our outreach and education. And we have a lot of resources that are available to you. So your membership includes access to a lot of these resources to help you raise awareness about your participation in NFRC programs. Throughout the year, NFRC exhibits, and we will continue to once trade shows are back up and running, but we exhibit and present at a lot of trade shows and industry organizations to help make sure that NFRC remains relevant, and to really educate people about who NFRC is and raise awareness about the organization. We have our Marcom network, which I talked about a little bit earlier, the social media cross promotion, and then reciprocal media opportunities. We'd love to have our members as guest blogs and submit articles. At the same time, we would love to have our expertise on your platform. So we definitely want to collaborate in that way. And then finally, our retailer program. This program gives manufacturers as well as other organizations tools to really explain the NFRC label. It breaks it down into very simple terms so that people can explain it to consumers or other stakeholders. And this includes a co-branded infographic, a member window cling, customized online on-demand training. And we'd love to share with you our code so you can embed the homeowner's video on your website. And then we'll also send the link to that video out with this presentation. So finally, we want to make sure that everyone can get logged into the NFRC community. NFRCcommunity.org is part of our website, and a lot of our information is on that site, but as a member, you have a login for it. So once you're logged in, you can edit your profile, you can change your contact information, as well as add a photo if you'd like. You can search for other members, and you can get basic contact information. You can access all documents instantly without having to go through the store. And then also you do need to be logged in to receive the member discounts for events and meeting registrations. So to log in, and everyone should have a community login, and if you don't, you can click to set one up, and it's pretty quick and easy. But you just have to go to nfrccommunity.org, and up at the top there's an option to sign in, and also at the bottom. And again, if you have not received the email, let me know and I can have it resent to you so that you can get logged in. And if you have any trouble logging in, just reach out to me. So that wraps up today's presentation. Just want to see if anyone had any questions. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions, but if anything comes up, please feel free to email me. If you email membership@nfrc.org, a couple people do receive that. So if I'm not in or don't get a reply there, someone else will be able to get back to you. But thank you again for joining us and for deciding to become members. We are looking forward to working with everybody this year. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.